Okay, so for this tutorial we're going to look at how to simplify ratios, and this relates to 4.2 in the textbook. Okay, so the first question that we're going to look at is write the ratio of 25 metres to 1,500 centimetres in the simplest form. First thing that we have to look at are both units the same. In this instance they aren't, because one's looking at metres, the other one's looking at centimetres. So first thing I need to do is to convert them so that they're in the same unit. So what I'm going to do is, because 1,500 centimetres, I've got two zeros on the end, I can actually convert to metres, because we know that for 1 metre there's 100 centimetres if we looked at the ratio like that. Okay, so I can actually go 1,500 divided by 100, and then that's going to give me the number of metres. So if I have a quick look here, what it actually means I can do is obviously cancel out the zeros. So a 0 for a 0, which now gives me the answer of 15. So now I've got my new ratio of 25 metres to 15 metres. So that's our first step that we've got at this part. The next step that we have to do is actually ignore the metres. So it now becomes a ratio of 25 to 15, because we've got them both in the same unit. This has obviously asked us to simplify, so I have to look at what's a common factor. If I look at this here, 2 doesn't go into either of them, nor does 3. It goes into 15, but it doesn't go into 25. 4, as neither of them are even, I'm not going to worry about it. So let's try 5, and obviously looking at that, you can see that 5 goes into both of them. So if I do 25 divided by 5, I get 5. And if I do 15 divided by 5, I get 3. And that's our answer. Pretty straightforward, I think. So this question here is asking us to convert 2.5 to 1 to 3 in its simplest form. So what we need to actually do is, for a ratio, I've got to remember, they actually go in whole numbers. So what I want to do is convert this mixed number of 2.5 to an improper fraction. Okay, so if I go, obviously 2 times 2 plus 1 over 2 gives us 5 over 2 as our new fraction. Now I have to work out what I need to times it by to make it just a whole number. In this instance, because my base is 2, I can just times it by 2, which gives me an answer of 5. Okay, so now, and if you do that, what you need to do to these other two numbers is also times them by 2 as well. So I now have 5 over 2 times by 2 with the fraction, with the simple the ratio dots, times the 1 by 2 and times the 3 by 2. Okay, so this now, obviously the twos here will cancel each other out, so I get a ratio of 5 to the 2, because 1 times 2 is 2, and 3 times 2 is 6. And that's the end of that ratio there. That's how we do that one. Okay, this is our last question that we have to do for simplifying ratios. So for this one, it's asking, write the ratio of 3.5 to 4.25 in its simplest form. So the first thing that I like to do when I look at the ratios is to work out which one is actually got the most number of decimal points after it. So in this instance, I have the 4.25 as that it has 2. So I want to make this a whole number. So to get rid of that decimal point, I need to times it by 100. Which what I have to do then is times the 3.5 by 100 as well, because we've got to do the same to both things in the ratio. Okay, so now this gives me 350 to 425, because obviously move it along 2 decimal places, we get the whole numbers. I'm going to show you 2 ways how we can actually simplify this. The first one is I notice that there's a 50 and there's a 25 as the last 2 digits in both of them. So I know that this number is now actually divisible by 25. And a quick way to look at it is we know, for instance, in 100 we have 4 25s. So in 300 I'm going to have 12 25s. And in the 50 I'll have 2 because, so obviously 12 plus 2 gives me a ratio of 14 on this side. And on the other side I'm going to look at the 400. That gives me 16 25s, and then I have 1 25 left over. So it gives me a ratio of 14 to 17. The other way we can do it is actually by going through the factors a couple of times. So neither 2, 3 or 4 are factors of this. So I'm actually going to divide it by 5 because we know if it ends in a 0 it's got to be divisible 5. And if it ends in a 5, it also has to be divisible by 5. So if I divide these two, I actually get a ratio of 70 to 85. Again, they both end in a 0 and a 5, so I can divide them by 5 again. And if I do 70 divided by 5, I'm going to get 14. And if I do 85 divided by 5, I'm going to get 17. So that's the end of this tutorial.